Okay, good evening everyone. We are in the week of Purim, and we have an obligation to enhance our understanding, to upgrade ourselves from whatever we know already, and we know, but we could know better. So this lecture will be about the connection between Ta'anit Esther and Purim. As you know, Wednesday this year will be a fast day from the morning until Kriyat HaMegillah, until after Kriyat HaMegillah in the evening. And there is a very deep connection between those two. Purim actually starting in Ta'anit Esther. Thank you. So we'll start to verify first the name. What is Purim? So the Megillah says, let's see it, that the reason of the name Purim to this holiday is because of this. Let me read this. It all started apparently by the fact that Mordechai refused to bow down to Haman, even though the king, Ahasuerus, told or put a command that everyone should bow down to Haman. Mordechai refused, and that's how it all started. וירא המן כי אין מרדכי קורא ומשתחווה לו, וימלא המן חימה. He became furious about the fact that Mordechai dared not to bow down to him, but he was so mad, ויבז בעיניו לשלוח יד במרדכי לבדו, כי הגידו לו את עם מרדכי. ויבקש המן להשמיד את כל היהודים, אשר בכל מלכות אחשוורוש, עם מרדכי בחודש הראשון וחודש ניסן, בשנת 12. Now, okay, so he decided, and he has a point, it's not a personal thing of Mordechai against him, because Mordechai is Jewish, and the Jews bowing down only to Hashem. Therefore, even if he'll eliminate Mordechai, as long as there is any one Jew in the world, his status as one that people should bow down to him is not safe. Therefore, he have to eliminate all the Jews. Okay? Now we have to remember that Haman was the prime minister. In the beginning of פרק ג' of the Megillah, it says, אחר הדברים האלה גידל המלך אחשוורוש את המן, וינשאהו, וישם את כיסאו מעל כל השרים. Meaning, he put him in a position that he will be the head of the other ministers. Meaning, he put him as a prime minister. But he was it was a dictatorship of the king Ahasuerus. So actually the real leader is Ahasuerus. He's the king. But he is the second in duties. He is the prime minister. So after he decided, or he got mad, and he decided to eliminate the Jews, he knows that he has to get still a permission from his boss, which is King Ahasuerus. So he did something very interesting. Before he went to Ahasuerus, he went to him. But he did something. What did he do? He הפיל פור. בשנת 12 למלך אחשוורוש הפיל פור הוא הגורל לפני המן מיום ליום ומחודש לחודש 12 הוא חודש אדר. He decided, before he will go to get the permission from the king, to choose the right date. The right date. And it was very important for him. He made a lottery. What will be the best date to eliminate the Jews? So he made a lottery. And the lottery in old Persian language is pur. In English, it's poor. But in old Persian, it's a lottery. Hipil pur. Hu hagoral. Hu hagoral. Okay. We calling it, this holiday, Purim. Purim, when there's a rule that in Hebrew, always when you have a yud mem at the end of a word, it make a singular plural. Examples, yad, yadaim. So you add yud and mem. Regel, raglaim, ozen, oznaim, lechi, lechayim. So yud mem at the end of the word always switch it from singular to plural. We call this day Purim, plural. Question is why? In the Megillah it says that he pilpur, lottery, singular. This is the secret of the entire Purim. It was 2 lotteries. What he thought he wanted to do and what actually happened. What actually happened, you know the famous word in the end of the Megillah, v'nahafochu. V'nahafochu meaning the thing that he thought just turned around completely. Therefore, there are 2 lotteries over here. What he thought and what happened actually. What actually happened, right? So that's the meaning of the word, of the name of this holiday, Purim. That Hashem turned his negative thought to a good thought for us. And we have, from that, the happiest holiday in the Jewish calendar. We have to know that this holiday is the Rabbanan. It's not the Oraita. Moshe Rabbeinu never celebrate Purim. Neither Yoshua bin Nun, David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech. It was not there. It was not in the calendar. The entire event happened after the destruction of the first Beit HaMikdash, during the time that we were in exile in Bavel. It's called Galut Bavel. And it was 70 years of Galut Bavel. So the one who took the Jews out of Eretz Israel were the Babylonians. They were the superpower at the time. And we meant to be there for 70 years. And therefore, it's called Galut Bavel, which is the Babylonians, the Iraq of today. But 52 years after the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, when another 18 years left from the 70 that was in the decree, it was a political event that caused Bavel to get off of the stage of the superpower in the world, and instead of them come 2 nations that combine to one, which is Paras Umadai. And Paras Umadai started to be in power 18 years before the end of the 70 years of Galut Bavel. It was 5 years of Koresh and Daryavesh, Koresh HaMadi and Koresh HaParsi and Daryavesh HaMadi. First was Daryavesh. Daryavesh was a king for 1 year. He married off his daughter to Koresh HaParsi, and then they combined to one superpower. Then Koresh was there for another 3-4 years. And in the last 14 years was the time of what the Megillah described, of Achashverosh. Achashverosh's story is a big story by itself. We have no time now today to emphasize this, but we have to know that he was not a natural king. He was not a son of Koresh or Daryavesh. He became a king. ויהי בימי אחשוורוש הוא אחשוורוש המולך שמלך מעצמו. He gave a lot of money and he bought it and he became the king. Now the 14 years, the last 14 years of Galut Bavel was, we were spread all over 127 places, Medinot, that was under the rulership of the Persians. And the Megillah started Bishnat Shalosh Lemolcho. That's the beginning of the Megillah, right? Bishnat Shalosh Lemolcho Asa Mishte Lechol Shana Sarav Avadav. And the entire Megillah, the entire story of Purim was on a time period of 9 years. From Shnat Shalosh Lemolcho, the 3rd year that he became a king, until the lottery was fall on Shnat 12 Lemolcho. So 12 minus 12 minus 3, we have 9 years. So the entire story of the Megillah was in the last 9 years. Okay? Fine. So, as we said, Haman decided to kill the entire nation, the entire Jewish nation, and he came to Achashverosh with a deal. I want to both them from you. ו10,000 כיכר כסף אשכול על ידי עושי המלאכה, and I want you to buy this nation from you in order to kill them. We have to understand now what really happened. So it was a decree on the Jewish nation to be eliminated. Never happened before, only one time in the history, that it was a decree from Shamayim on the Jewish nation to be eliminated. The first one was Chet HaEgel. 40 days after Matan Torah was Chet HaEgel, and Hashem told to Moshe Rabbeinu, Heref mimeni ve'ashmidem ve'achalem. So it was a decree in Shamayim because of Chet HaEgel to eliminate Chas v'Shalom the Jewish nation. And Moshe Rabbeinu prayed to Hashem. And it says in Tehillim, Lule Moshe b'chiro amad b'peretz, if Moshe Rabbeinu were not praying for us, Chas v'Shalom the Jewish nation will be eliminated. Then, because of Chet HaEgel. Second time in the history, it happened here, in the story of Purim. Let me tell you something. Maybe you know it, maybe not. If not, it's very important to know it. Megillat Esther is in the Tanakh, right? It's one of the Holy Scriptures. It's in the Tanakh. But if you look through the Megillah, you will never find the name of Hashem in the Megillah. Shem Hashem, the name of God, the name of Hashem is not mentioned in the entire Megillah. It's not the only book. Also in Shir HaShirim, there is no name of Hashem in Megillat Shir HaShirim or Megillat Esther. But even though it's part of the Nevuah, or part of Kitva HaKodesh, and the entire thing, the entire story of Purim is with us forever, as it says in the Megillah itself, וימי הפורים האלה לא יעברו מתוך היהודים, וזכרם לא יסוף מזרם. It will be part now of the Jewish history of the Jewish nation. And we used to celebrate since very early age the miracle of Purim, right? It's a very happy day, as we said. But we have to know that actually it's very dramatic, sad event that was there. It was a decree to eliminate the entire nation, the entire Jewish nation. So the big miracle was that the Jewish nation was about to be eliminated, and Hashem saved us. And this is a big thing. Now, the Midrash Rabbah, says in the beginning of Megillas Esther, in the Akdama, it says that it's true that the name of Hashem is not mentioned in the entire Megillah, but it's only in the Pshat of the Megillah. Says the Midrash, if you read Megillat Esther, you will find out that the main figure, or one of the main figures in the Megillah, is King Ahasuerus, right? Because he is the king. So the Megillah mentioned many times the name of the king, King Ahasuerus. But sometimes the Megillah says Hamelech Ahasuerus, and sometimes it says Hamelech without mentioning Ahasuerus, which is obvious. Who is the king? Who is the Melech? Ahasuerus. Says the Midrash that in the simple level of the, you read the Megillah in the Pshat, every time that it mentioned Hamelech, it's Hamelech Ahasuerus. But in the depth, in the hidden part, every time that it mentioned in the Megillah Hamelech, without the addition Ahasuerus, so in the Nigle, in the regular world, it's related to Ahasuerus. But it's also in the hidden relate to the real king, to the Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Medrash give you a key over here. If you want to know where Hashem appeared in the Megillah, read it according to the Nistar, according to the hidden. When it mentioned HaMelech Stam, it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchei HaMelachim. Now, there is a very interesting pasuk in the Megillah that repeats itself. כתב שנכתב בשם המלך ונחתם בטבעת המלך, אין להשיב. That was Datei Paras Umadai. That was the rules over there. Meaning, even Ahasuerus, even King Ahasuerus himself, or any king that was in Paras Umadai, if he writes something and signed it with his tabat, with his ring, נחתם בטבעת המלך, אין להשיב, meaning that even the king himself could not reverse it. That's the rules. That's the rules in חוקי פרס ומדי. Now, it says in the Megillah that when Haman came to Achashverosh to get a permission to kill the Jews, it says, Vayasar HaMelech et tabato, Vayitna leHaman, and it says HaMelech without Achashverosh. So again, according to the Pshat, it's the king Achashverosh. But according to the rule that the Medrash revealed to us or taught us, HaMelech is Malko shel Olam. So it says, Vayasar HaMelech et tabato, Vayitna leHaman, and he told Haman, you could do with them whatever you want. And he got the ring, and he write down to kill all the Jews, and he signed it, Betabat Amelech. Therefore, it's very, very serious. It's not a decree of Haman or Achashverosh. It's a decree that Midat Adin, meaning one of the ways that Hashem running the world, allow or ask or give the permission to eliminate the entire nation. So this is very, very serious. The Jewish nation was about to be eliminated migzerat shamayim, of gzera of Hashem yitbarach. And this is the biggest thing of the miracle of Purim. That v'nahafochu, this gzera that according to Midat Adin was there, meaning the Jewish nation had a death penalty of something, a death sentence. And that turned over, and this is the reason for the big simcha. So let's go deeper into it. If you continue in the Megillah, you will see that came Haman to למלך אחשוורוש and told him, יש לו עם אחד מפוזר ומפורד בין העמים ודתיהם שונות מכל עם, ולמלך אין שווה להניחם. So the Megillah says, אם על המלך טוב, ייכתב לעבדם, ייכתב, to be written. And when it's written, after it's written and signed, there is no way to reverse it. ייכתב לעבדם. And here again, the melech is the melech סתם. אם על המלך טוב, מלכו של עולם. ו10,000 כיכר כסף אשכול על ידו עושה המלאכה להביא לגנזי המלך. So, here's the pasuk. ויסר המלך את טבעתו מעל ידו, ויתנה להמן בן עמדת האגגית צורר היהודים. Meaning, Midat Adin agreed with Haman, and he got permission from Shamayim to do it. See, המלך here is not אחשוורוש, המלך. ויסר המלך את טבעתו מעל ידו, ויתנה להמן בן עמדת האגגית צורר היהודים, ויאמר המלך להמן, הכסף נתון לך, והעם לעשות בו כטוב בעיניך. Wow. So there is permission from Shamayim, that the Jewish nation should be eliminated. Let me show you an amazing Gemara. And we will learn. This is not entertainment talk. This is a learning talk, a learning shiur. Okay? So let's see this Gemara. This Gemara in Megillat Daf Yudalid. ויסר המלך את טבעתו. אמר רבי אבא בר כהנא, גדולה הסרת טבעת, יותר מ-48 נביאים ו7 נביאות שנתנבאו להם לישראל, שכולם לא החזירום למוטב, ואילו הסרת הטבעת החזירתן למוטב. Hashem sent, since Moshe Rabbeinu, in the entire Tanakh, we have a prophecies of 48 Nevi'im and 7 Nevi'ot that Hashem sent to us. The first one was Moshe Rabbeinu. The last one was Ezra, which is Malachi. Malachi, אומרת הגמרא in Megillah. The Gemara says in Masech Megillah that Malachi and Ezra is the same person. Malachi is named by the Nevi'im, and Ezra is named by the Ktuvim. And there is a difference between Nevi'im and Ktuvim, but it's the same person. Between Moshe Rabbeinu to Ezra, there are 48 prophets and 7 Nevi'ot that the meaning, their mission in the world was Hashem sent them to make Bnei Israel, to make the Jews go back to fulfill the mitzvot of the Torah. They failed. All the Nevi'im, they failed in this mission. Meaning, the Jewish nation didn't listen to them. The result was the 10 tribes went to exile because they didn't listen. They were worshiping idols and they doing all the averot of the Torah, and therefore the Nevi'im came to them. Eliyahu Navi was one of the Nevi'im. He came to Achav and Izebel and he talked, and it didn't change them. And the fact was, they have to be punished. It was the exile, the 10 tribes. Later on, 130 years later, same thing happened with Yehuda. Mamlechet Yehuda also went to exile. The destruction of Beit Rishon, and they went to exile. So, says the Gemara, all the Nevi'im failed to return the Jews to do tshuva. What did it? The ring. The ring of Achashverosh. When Achashverosh took the ring and gave it to Haman, that caused them to do tshuva. Tshuva in Purim, usually in Purim, we think about, the jokes, the fun. It's not one of the Aser Simei Tshuva. It's not Yom Kippur. So you have to know. Again, I don't have now time to go into this deep thing, but maybe you heard that the Ari HaKadosh says that Purim is higher in its spiritual level than Yom Kippurim. You aware of the fact that you have 5 letters of Purim? Pei, Vav, Resh, Yud, Mem, right? There are Yom HaKippurim. Same letters with addition of a kaf. Purim, Kippurim. What's a kaf in Hebrew? Kemo, like. So, Yom HaKippurim is like Purim, said the Ari HaKadosh. Meaning, Yom HaKippurim is the holy day of the year, right? There is one day that holy, then Yom HaKippurim, which is Purim. Because when you say, this is like this, so the like is just similar to what is the original? Purim. Kippurim is like Purim. Kemo Purim. Ke Purim. This is an amazing thing that the Ari HaKadosh says. What's the idea? So we have to know that what happened in Purim is higher than what happened in Yom Kippurim. What is the Yom Kippurim? What's the reason of Yom Kippurim? Why Yom Kippurim is in Yud B'Tishrei? Because in Yud B'Tishrei we got the Luchot. Moshe Rabbeinu went to the mountain twice to get the Torah, right? The second time was started in Rosh Chodesh Elul and end after 40 days in Yom Kippurim. Why we need the second Luchot? Because the first one got broken, right? Moshe shavar et Luchot. He broke them. Why did he broke them? Because of Chet HaEgel. So Yom Kippurim, when we got the second Luchot, says Rashi at the end of Masechet Ta'anit, therefore, first of all, when we got it, it seems it's the sign that Hashem forgive us about Chet HaEgel. Because the Chet caused us not to get the Luchot. When we got the replacement of the Luchot, that means that Hashem is forgive us. Therefore, says Rashi, Yom Kippurim is the day of the Mechila, of the first big sin that we committed as a nation. That happened in Purim, in Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippurim. In Purim was the same decree, right? What was the decree because of Chet HaEgel? Heref mimeni va'achalem. What was in Purim? Bayehudim le'abdam. So, in both Purim and Yom Kippur was a decree to Chas v'Shalom to eliminate the Jewish nation. And in both cases, in Purim and in Yom Kippurim, we saved. See the common denominator between Yom Kippurim and Purim. But the Gemara said something amazing over here. The Jewish nation, as Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, are kshei oref, a stubborn nation. ראיתי את העם הזה והנה עם קשה עורף הוא, says Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu after Chet HaEgel. Purim was a decree. Was a decree on the Jewish nation to be eliminated. And the question is why? What happened there? So, in order to understand this, we will learn another Gemara. This is an amazing Gemara in Masechet Megillah, but not in Daf Yudalet, earlier in Daf Yudbet. But you see, this Gemara says that it was a decree to eliminate the Jewish nation. כתב אשר נכתב, and the Megillah said, ואתם כתבו על היהודים, כתוב בעיניכם later on, when Mordechai and Esther turned it over, so the king Achashverosh told them, ואתם כתבו על היהודים, כתוב בעיניכם בשם המלך, וחיתמו בטבעת המלך, כי כתב אשר נכתב בשם המלך ונחתם בטבעת המלך, אין להשיב. That's what I quoted before, but it's written in the Megillah very clearly. כתב שנכתב בשם המלך ונחתם בטבעת המלך, אין להשיב. And that's what the Gemara means, הסרת הטבעת של המלך, the real king, אין להשיב. And they knew that there is a decree that the Jewish nation, Hashem decided, or Midas Adin decided, should be eliminated. And the question is, what did they do parallel to Chet HaEgel that caused the Midat Adin to say that they have to be eliminated? In order to do this, to really understand that, we have to learn this piece of the Gemara in Masechet Megillah, Daf Yud Bet. Look at this. שאלו תלמידיו את רבי שמעון בר יוחאי. The students of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai asked Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai this question. מפני מה נתחייבו שונאיהם של ישראל שבאותו הדור כליה? Why the Jewish nation was under this decree to be eliminated, to be killed? Let's read the Gemara and then explain. This is an amazing Gemara. אמר להם רבי שמעון בר יוחאי to his students, you know what? You asked a very good question. Many people do not ask this question, especially in our generation. One thing that we should know, Hashem gave us Torah, and we blessed Hashem every day that He gave us the Torah. ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים. It's part of ברכות השחר. When we read the Torah, we said that every time we read few psukim in the Torah. We're blessing Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. He gave us Torah. What's the big deal about it? We are in the world. Things happened in the world. We know that nothing just happened. There is a creator who created the world, and the creator is supervising of what's going on. There is something called hashgacha. Nothing happened, nothing, literally nothing happened just by chance. Hashem is running the world, and He's controlling the world, and everything that happened because Hashem decided that that's what should be done. So nothing is mikre, nothing is just by chance. When Hashem gave us the Torah I mean not just the 5 books of Moses, the entire Nevi'im Uktuvim. Hashem sent the Nevi'im. He gave us information about, we have the keys. Hashem gave us the keys how He is running the world. I always say that, I'll repeat it over here because I never said that here. There is a mitzvah. There is a mitzvah to learn history. Where it's written? In Sefer Devarim. At the end of the life of Moshe Rabbeinu in Parashat Ha'azinu, he says, Zechor yemot olam, binu shnot dor vador. Learn history. Zechor yemot olam. Remember what happened in the past. Why it's important? Zechor yemot olam, binu shnot dor vador. Learn what happened to the generations before you. But you cannot do it yourself. You have to learn the facts, what happened in the history. But, it says in the continuation, זכור ימות עולם, בינו שנות דור ודור, שאל אביך ויגדך זקניך ויאמרו לך. You could see the events, what happened here and there in the history. But if you really want to understand it, you need זקניך, אביך. What's אביך, says Rashi? שאל אביך ויגדך, says Rashi. אביך, those are the prophets. What Elisha says about Eliyahu when Eliyahu disappeared or went up to Shamayim? Avi, Avi, Rechev Yisrael u'parashav. So Avicha are the Nevi'im. Zkenecha are the Ma'avirei Torah shebe'al peh, the Sanhedrin. why do you need Avicha and Zkenecha, meaning the prophets and the Sanhedrin, to verify for you the meaning of the events? Because you could see the event, but you do not to translate or interpret them in the right way. For that, you need the Nevi'im. The Nevi'im will tell you what Hashem means by this event and this event and this event. See, even today, things happen in the world, right? How do we understand what happened? How do we interpret what's happening? So unfortunately, because we are in exile, exile is not just we are not in our land. There is an exile of the da'at, exile of the sechel. So how do we interpret, understand? If we're stupid enough, we open the TV and listen to those stupid dumbs, parshanim, explainers that explain to you what happened. That's not what happened. Hashem is running the world. So we need to know why Hashem doing this. You have no way to do it. Only by listening to the Nevi'im. Hashem sent them in order to explain. And you could ask, but today we do not have Nevi'im. We do not have Sanhedrin. But we have the Torah. In the Torah, in the Tanakh, and in the Mishnah, and the Gemara, and the Medrash, we have the explanation or the keys to understand what happened. And if you will learn what happened then, you could understand better what's happening now. And this is the mitzvah of Zechor Yemot Olam Binu Shnot Dor Vador She'al Avicha V'Yagetcha. We ask and they tell us, they told us, they explained to us what happened. So based on this, you could understand events that are happening now. Why I'm saying this? In order to understand this amazing Gemara. If you ask any wise historian or anyone, what happened then? They will tell you. You know, was an anti-Semite by the name Haman. I don't know, when he was a kid, maybe some frum Jew stepped on his foot. And then he decided that he's going to hate the Jewish nation. And then when come the chance, he got into power and he decided to eliminate the Jewish nation. And it just happened that King Ahasuerus was not less anti-Semite than him, and he gave him the permission. That will be the top, deep explanation of the people who will see the events. That's the way regular people analyze what's happening. What is the Jewish way to analyze what happened? Go to Beit HaMidrash. And here we're going to the Beit HaMidrash of not less than Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the one who were the master of the Kabbalah and this hidden stuff, right? So imagine a yeshiva like this, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So it will be very hard to accept to this yeshiva, right? You have to be a very high level student in order to be the student of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So the Gemara says that in the yeshiva of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, his students, his talmidim, came to him and asked him this deep question. What was the reason that the Jewish nation was under this decree, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד את כל היהודים? It's not because of the anti-Semite Haman or Ahasuerus. We want to know the real reason. Why Hashem made this happening? That is the question here. שאלו תלמידיו את רבי שמעון בר יוחאי, מפני מה נתחייבו? It was a chov, it was midas adin upstairs. Could you tell us, reveal to us why they deserve this terrible punishment of death penalty on the entire nation? Says to them Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, אמר להם, אמרו אתם. He was very happy with this question. And he said, wow, if you're smart enough to know that it's not just happened, but there is a reason and you want to verify the reason, first of all, it shows your level. You're really understanding it in the right way. But you're asking me, right? Let me return the question to you. Could you think about the reason why? Why would be such a terrible decree? אמר להם, אמרו אתם. So listen to what they said. אמרו לו, מפני שנהנו מסעודתו של אותו רשע. So they make the connection. When the Megillah described that it was this decree, in Perek Gimel, in the 3rd chapter of Megillah Esther, right? So they went back to the 1st chapter. What described in the 1st chapter? That King Ahasuerus made a big party of 180 days for all the people in his administration. That was the first party. 180 days. It's a half a year. After he finished this, it says that he made another party of only 7 days for who? For all the citizens of Shushan Habira. In Shushan, at the time, were Jews also, like in Washington today. You have people there, Jewish community. They were invited to come to the party of the king. They came to the Sanhedrin and said, what do you think? Are we allowed to go to this party? It's a Goyish party. Shall we go? So when they came to the Rabbanim, they came to Mordechai and to the Sanhedrin at the time. It was a Sanhedrin then. HaCharash ve'amasger, that was in Galut Bavel. They asked him, should we go or not? And they said to the Rabbanim, you have to know, the food will be extra kosher. La'asot kirtzon ish va'ish. You could do any food. The king says to his people, serve them any food that they want. If they veggies, give them veggie. If they want kosher, kosher. But not just stam kosher. The highest ashgacha. The highest ashgacha. Badatz. Eida Haredis. Right? So the food is good. It's kosher. The wine will be stamped. Don't worry. No yaines. No problem. And it's very sensitive. Because he's a new king. He wants to please everyone. If we will not go, that will be not good. We're going to put our situation as a nation in dangerous in the eyes of the king. So politically, it makes sense to go. And it's kosher. To go or not to go. That's the question the Medrash says that they asked the Sanhedrin. What the Sanhedrin told them? Don't go. Don't go. So probably they will say, okay, again, those Rabbanim, they do not understand anything in politics. They're fanatic. They didn't listen to them. And they went. They went. From political reasons. And the food is kosher. The wine is good. It's kosher. No problem of halacha. So how come the Sanhedrin said, don't go? Tell you why. And it's not easy. It's a boo-boo, even today. You know, people could say, you have to be open-minded. I mean, don't be so fanatic. And everything is kosher, so what's the problem? The problem is not the food. When you go to a party of the Goyim, right? Even if the food is kosher, they're eating very good, fancy food, fancy meal and wine and everything. Okay. And what will be in the program? What will be in the program? What the Goyim do when they eat and drink? What they do? They got drunk, and what's next? It will be a performance, right? Different kind of performance. We know what kind of performance the Megillah says. What kind of performance was there? Miss Universe. That what a Jew should see or be part of? The Megillah described that at the end, the king Ahasuerus says that his wife will come only with a crown on her head. That what the Jew should see? So therefore, the Sanhedrin said, don't go. And they went. Says the students of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that was the reason. נהנו מסעודתו של אותו רשע. It was a seuda of rishus, of wicked. They made the connection. Why the Megillah described it in the beginning? The Megillah could start from Perek Gimel. אחר הדברים האלה גידל המלך אחשוורוש את המן. Why the Megillah described the seuda? Meaning this is the reason that was what the students of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai try to understand. Says to them, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, could not be. Im ken, if so, if that's the reason, שבשושן יהרגו, שבכל העולם כולו אל יהרגו. The decree was on all the Jews in all 127 states, right? The Mesiba, the Seudah of Achashverosh, was only for לכל העם הנמצאים בשושן. So if this is the sin, the decree should be on them only. So actually what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wants to say to them, it's not enough reason. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but that could not be the reason why the decree will be on all the nation. So they said to him, okay, we thought that we need a deeper vision. Therefore, we asked you in the beginning, tell us. And you told us, you try. So we tried. That's what we could do. We do not know better. So could you tell us? אמרו לו, אמור אתה. So if this is not the reason, or this is not enough reason, you tell us what the real reason. אמר להם, מפני שהשתחוו לצלם. He told them, the reason is not in the Megillah. It's before the Megillah. What do you mean השתחוו לצלם? When? At the time of Nebuchadnezzar, about 70 years before, 60, 70 years before, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, who destroyed Beit HaMikdash and put you in exile, after a few years, he made, as described in Sefer Daniel, he made a big statue in his image. And he asked everyone to bow down to it. And everyone did, aside from 3 people, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. But everyone else, all the Goyim and all the Jews, was bowing down to it. That's the reason. The reason is Avodah Zarah. And on Avodah Zarah, we see on the precedents that was in Chet HaEgel. If לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים, לא תעשה לך פסל וכל תמונה, לא תשתחווה להם, and you did. I mean, the Jewish nation did. Therefore, in Chet HaEgel is what the degree of Eref Mimeni Vashmidem, and it's to repeat itself now by the Tzelem of Nebuchadnezzar. That's the reason. You have to be Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to look so deep. But he said, that's what he said. That was the reason. And it's very important because, again, many people who celebrate Purim have no clue what they're doing. We celebrate because we were saved. But why? We saved for what? What was the decree? What was the reason in the first place? It's very important to understand, to really understand Purim. But look, the conversation continued. אמר להם מפני שהשתחוו לצלם. That was what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told to his students, but his students are not dumb people. They are the students of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So, when they offered their explanation, he asked them a question. Now, it's their turn to ask a question on the explanation of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So, they said, if so, if you're right that this is the reason because they bowed down to the Tzelem of Nebuchadnezzar, so how come Hashem saved them? Why it was a miracle? Because at the end, they wasn't killed, right? Why? אמרו לו, וכי משוא פנים יש בדבר? So if they chayav misa, they really need to be killed because they bowed down to the Avodah Zarah. So how come was a miracle? How come was Purim? Well, the ness of Purim? Listen carefully to the answer. אמר להם רבי שמעון בר יוחאי לתלמידיו, הם לא עשו אלא לפנים, אף הקדוש ברוך הוא לא עשה עמהם אלא לפנים. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai teaching us here something even deeper and amazing. When they bowed down to the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, they just make believe that they bow down to it. By inside in their heart, they never consider it as a god or Avodah Zarah. It was just, the king asked, we're doing this, but we do not really believe in it. So it was a make-believe. It was a make-believe. כל מידותיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא מידה כנגד מידה. So you made believe, I also made believe to you. I bring you to the edge that you're going to be eliminated, you're going to be killed, and then I'll turn it. Why? Because you do not really did it. See what's dikduk adin? You see what's going on? How the Hashem running the world? Everything is midah keneged midah. So the entire story of Purim was to scare to death. Double meaning. The Jewish nation, that they're going to be dead, and then Hashem switched it at the end. Because when you did it then by the statue, it was not Avodah Zarah, but it was a Chilul Hashem. Why? Because all the nations of the world bowed down to the statue, but because they're idol worshippers, they really consider it an idol, another God. When the Jews was there and was bowing down, how the Goyim look at them? Oh, they also worshipping Avodah Zarah. So that it was a big Chilul Hashem. That the Goyim thought that the Jews are worshipping idols. But the Jews never really meant it. That's what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai tell us about what behind the scenes of Purim. But it was look like Avodah Zarah. Right? There is nothing, no punishment that Hashem give. Hashem is so righteous, so tzaddik v'yasharu, kol drachav mishpat. He will never do something that you do not deserve. But exactly according to what you do. That's why I said before that this Gemara is amazing. And if you really understand it, try to analyze what's happening in the world. Since Purim, we went through so much as a nation, right? Was a decree here, decree here, decree here. Was the Holocaust. If you have those keys, you understand nothing is b'mikre, nothing is just by chance. Nothing. Everything is medugdag to the last small detail. Now, I want, again, in the little time that we have now, to just emphasize something in the Megillah that everyone just read and just skip it. But this is the main thing. This is the main point that people miss when they read the Megillah and try to understand Purim. So what happened? Haman has the decree has a stamp of the king, and not just King Achashverosh. Tabat HaMelech. How the miracle happened? Mordechai realized this. He heard what happening, and he screamed, and he went, and he was mourning on it in the middle of Shushan Abira. And the word came to Esther, that was inside the palace, and she went to check out what's going on with Mordechai. Why are you doing this? So he told her. He told her. There is a decree, you do not know, but there is a decree that the Jewish nation will be, there is a decree from upstairs that the Jewish nation should be eliminated. You could save the situation. Go to the king and beg to him and reveal to him that you're Jewish. He never knew until now. And try to save the Jewish nation. What was the response of Esther? I can't do it. There are rules. The kings are obligated to the rules of Datei Paras Umadai, and me too. And the rules are that you could not go to the king without an appointment. And I have no appointment. 30 days already, I don't have an appointment. It's easy, it's very complicated to make an appointment. I could not come just without appointment because the rules in Datei Paras Umadai, that anyone who comes to the king without appointment is going to be killed. So what's the point? I will not save the Jewish nation. I will commit suicide and nothing will happen. So I can't go. Mordechai told her, you have to go anyways. This is the chance, take the chance. What Esther told him, and this is the main thing. Esther was one of the Sheva Neviot. Mordechai also was a Navi. But Esther was one of the Sheva Neviot. What Esther told him? I have to skip because we do not have enough time. Okay. So what Esther told him, wait, where is it? Esther told him, לך כנוס את כל היהודים אשר בשושן וצומו עליי. Okay, I'll say it by heart. In the Megillah it says, I will go. Esther says, I will go, even though it seems like committing suicide. But you say, I have to take the chance, I'll take the chance. But I'll do it with one condition. לך כנוס את כל היהודים אשר בשושן, וצומו עליי, ואל תאכלו ואל תשתו 3 ימים לילה ויום. גם אני ונערותיי עצום כן, ובכן אבוא אל המלך אשר לא כדת, וכאשר עבדתי. I will go. But I'm asking you, before I'll go, you, as of the very famous or important figure in the Sanhedrin, gather together all the Jews, that in Shushan, and make a fast of 3 days. In Yom Kippur we have 1 day. 3 days. Laila vayom. And me myself, I will do it also. Why we need this? Because we need siyata d'shmaya. It's not just I'm taking a chance that maybe the king will see me and he will be excited and let me in. We know that it's not the king. Stupid Achashverosh is not the main figure over here. It's a decree from upstairs. So something happened that caused this decree. And what was it? That we are separated from Hashem. So the way to fix it, make a chizuk for all the community. Knos et kol haYehudim, put them together. And fast, like Yom Kippur, do tshuva. And with this merit, I could go to the king. And that's what made it. And that's what the Gemara says. That Gdola ita sarat tabat. What did sarat tabat did when the tabat was giving? It made the work that all the Nevi'im, all 48 Nevi'im and 7 Nevi'ot could not do. What actually they wanted to do? To cause the Jews to do tshuva. But they failed. What made it? Hasarat tabat. And how it made it? It was a decree. And the Jews listened to Esther and Mordechai and made tshuva, and that was the thing that changed the situation and saved the Jewish nation. This is Purim. Therefore, Purim started with Tanit Esther. So many people, Bezrat Hashem this week, we have Tanit Esther on Yom Revi'i, Wednesday. People do not understand how important it is. Yom Kippur, they forget it. For sure I will fast in Yom Kippur. But Tanit Esther? So we have to understand it's parallel, and actually it's even more. It's not more than Yom Kippur, halachically. But if you understand the depth, in Yom Kippur you fast 1 day. Here, we should fast 3 days the way they did it, but we do it 1 day. And from the morning. But it's important because this is the idea. The way we were saved is because of the tshuva and the tanis, and the tzom, and the fast. Therefore, Purim started in Tanit Esther. Tanit Esther is the way to understand really Purim. Purim is not just have fun, get drunk, say jokes. That's not Purim. That's very shallow. That's for kids, maybe. But for grown-up or someone who is mature in his dat, Purim is a time of Chas v'Shalom, a decree to eliminate the Jewish nation. And the only way to revive them is reconnect back to Hashem. So this is the connection between Tanit Esther and Purim. So there is a lot of more, but our time is up, and I see that people who attend, you could not blame anyone. We worked very hard since the morning, so it's hard at 10 o'clock at night to listen to deep stuff. But we did it as a hachana for Purim, and hopefully with this, we'll upgrade our attitude and understanding what Purim is. Purim is, again, remember what the Ari says, and this is just part of it. Just part, a small part of it. Purim is higher than Yom Kippurim. Higher. Yom Kippurim is like Purim. And this is only one aspect of it. There are so many other aspects why Purim is so high. But that was what we could cover now. And that's our shir for tonight. Thank you for listening. And I hope again that it will enhance our level of understanding Purim. צריכים למצוא.